Well, the workday is done. That means it's time for playtime. I am finally going to get this thing on the rack here at work. This is my brand new to me 1988 Ford LTD Crown Victoria 5-liter Ford V8 under the hood, and most importantly, 5-speed manual transmission in the floor. I bought this a couple of days back. She's a looker. Let me tell you, buddy, she is a looker. I didn't really get much of any time to inspect the vehicle. When I purchased it, I just kind of went over it very generally and said, yep, that'll work. Handed the guy $2,800 and said, let's rock and roll. Took it immediately to the car wash, took it to the gas station, and took it to a car show. Everybody seems to love it. I'm excited about it, but I don't know exactly what I bought. I could have bought something terrible. The original listing on this thing listed that it had been swapped with a 93 Mustang, meaning the engine and transmission had been swapped with a 93 Mustang. I don't believe that's the case. I think this is probably the 5-liter that this car came with originally, but I could be wrong. It could be a mixed match of pieces and parts. We don't have any other way to find out other than put this thing inside and see exactly what we've got. So this is going to be a full nose to tail inspection of my 1988 LTD Crown Victoria. I will say this car is a ton of fun, having driven it a little over 200 miles over the last couple of days. It is very, very fun to have a stick shift floaty boat. It makes Mustang noises from under me and behind me. It's got a stick shift with a couch, and I gotta say, it's just absolutely fantastic. Not in any way fast, but that's okay, because I already have things that are fast. My goal with this thing is to make it cool, to make it fun and enjoyable. And so far, without even spending any more money, I think it's that. Somebody's already done a very valuable upgrade for me by putting that 5-speed in this thing. The whole point of this is for me to prove that there is, in this market, the opportunity to still go out and buy and build something cool for $5,000 or less. Now, I bought this car for $2,800 from a gentleman about an hour southeast of here, which means I have $2,200 left in my budget to make this thing cooler and better and probably faster and louder. And there's a lot of different things that I can do. There's a lot of different directions I can go, but a lot of it also depends on what I find in this car. Specifically, what's the firing order? Is this actually a Fox body Mustang V8 that's in this thing, or is it the LTD? Because that's a big difference. If it's an 88 versus a 93, there's a big difference there. What's the rear gear that's in this car? Is it the original rear gear that's in this? And if so, what was it? Is it a 2-something? Is it a low 3-something? If so, is it a limited slip? There's a lot of different options that are there, and I need to know where I'm starting from before I can make a plan as far as what I need to do. I do have a lot of ideas. There's a lot of things that are rolling around in my head, and I don't want to ruin this car by making it a fully stripped out race car. It's never going to be that fast. It's not going to be something that I'm going to be out setting records with. I don't care about that. That's not what I want to do. What I do want to be able to do is maximize the fun potential of this vehicle. Also, I need to figure out if my air conditioning is working. If it's even charged, if that's possibly my problem, then we're one ahead. If we can get the AC working, even better. So we're just going to put this thing on the rack. We're going to see what we got. What did I buy? What are my plans? What should I do with this thing? How cool can I make it? And can I do it all for $2,200 or less? Let's fire it up, get it on the rack, see what we got. Right away, I had a door fitment issue. As you can see here, the door gap is not exactly correct. Need to probably address some saggage in the back here, and definitely address some saggage in the front up here. You can see that that doesn't match up very well. And the front door and the back door, they're kind of arguing. So we'll have to fix that. You can see here, what's my situation? We'll have to figure that out. There is some rust on it. It does have some cancer. It's not cancer-free. It's a little bit more rusty than I thought it would be, but honestly, it's not that bad and not anything that I really care that much about at this point, if I'm honest with you. Somebody did go ahead and do some aftermarket gauges down here. 2 of the 3 actually work. The charging gauge does not do anything, but that's all right. I do have a tachometer up here on the top because these things never came in a stick shift, so no tachometer option. does this little double sweep thing, and then we just turn the key, and she'll fire right up. And idle, sort of. The biggest fallback of this car, if everything is still 1988 other than the stick shift, is the fact that the ECUs in these days were stupid. Like, stupid. This would be a speed density car. The tuning is terrible, the timing is terrible, and there's not a lot you can do with the stock original motor that's in this thing. You can do some, but not much. The factory ECU just cannot handle much of any changes. And I could, technically speaking, steal the Mega Squirt ECU out of that Fox Body Mustang that's sitting in front of this car. But if I'm going to be honest and do this thing in a budget, that's like a $1,200 ECU that I don't want to put in the budget for this. Or I could convert it to mass airflow from the later Mustangs and later Mustang wiring and ECU if I wanted to. I don't know that that's in the cards. See, I have other toys to go fast with. I don't really need another one. But a big, floaty, fun, rowdy stick shift boat kinda sounds fantastic. All right. Actually idles pretty well once it gets kind of where it needs to be. And my brake light is on. Not sure why exactly. Give her a little shoulder push. Oh, yeah, the gauge isn't even hooked up, so that would be why it's not working. Makes sense. All right. So, initial inspection. Is it a mass airflow sensor car, or is it a speed density car? Well, if it was mass airflow sensor, that would mean it would have to have a mass airflow sensor in line in here, and I do not see one. So it is still running on speed density, which is a bummer. That sucks. For those of you who are wondering about the Mustang side of things, if this was a Mustang swap, this intake manifold would go that way, not this way. This is the way that the LTDs went. The Mustangs had a different upper and lower intake manifold that came over to this side. So that's the problem there. Now there's not saying that maybe the bottom or that the actual heads and block are not necessarily 1993. Those could be. And they maybe just switched the intake manifold to stay with all of this stuff working. That's possible. This has clearly been off because that's stripped out. And that's painted red, so that's not been there, so who knows. Obviously our cap is new. These are Ford Racing wires, so possibly. Looks like belt wise, we've got our belt, we've got all of our connectors here for the AC, so we probably can throw a charge at it, or at least evac it and see where we are. If possible, this maybe is just low on refrigerant, and then I get super lucky. It does have shorty headers on it. I don't know if you can see that or not. There you go. Those are some shorty headers, which is great because that means somebody else has already handled that headache for me, which is a major plus. Doing headers on these cars kinds of sucks. For the fact that it's only a 302 cubic inch V8, there is not a lot of room under this massive hood. You would think with a car this big that a small V8 would give you an absolute ton of room to work in. Not at all the case. Not at all the case. Looks like there's been some interesting wiring going on over here. We got some connectors that have been heat shrinked there. It's got almost all the original stuff. I don't know. This car does have, I think, 59,000 miles on it. 59,337 miles as of right now. So it presents pretty well. I mean, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's pretty decent. I do honestly love these wheels because they are full-on grandpa spec. I will say this thing does ride phenomenally well. So whoever did align this thing and mount these tires, well done. Other than the fact that the steering wheel is off like 20 degrees. It does track beautifully down the road. I have no problems with that. Just need to figure out the whole get the steering wheel straightened up thing. But I believe these are 15 by 6.5s. And I kind of love them because they really make the whole grandpa sleeper car kind of thing really, really work. If I swap to another set of wheels and tires, like I have a set of 99 GT lightweight aluminum wheels, they're 17s. Great wheels. I've had them on a bunch of different vehicles. I actually have them on my Pinto race car. But it would totally change the look of this car running a Mustang 17. It gets rid of all the ability to make this car a sleeper. So I really want to kind of stick with these wheels, but maybe get another set of them and widen them. These are, I believe, 15 by 6.5s. If I put a 2-inch spacer on the inside of this wheel, as in cut the barrel and widen it 2 inches, that'd be a 15 by 8.5, and I could run a 275. It would look phenomenal on this thing. I also kind of like the idea of maybe bringing them out a little bit. These things are super inset on the body, and I think it would look really cool to kind of bring these out an extra maybe inch or so. Change the stance of the car a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. All things are still up in the air at the moment. First thing we need to do is see what the underside of this thing looks like, because I have no idea. I did roll up underneath it when we were first looking at it, and I know that the passenger side rocker is pretty badly rusted out. Not that concerned with it. The big question is going to be frame rails and floors. If those are in good shape, we're in good shape. Let's start up here in the front. Plenty of room in the nose for additional cooling things if I needed to put something up there that forced air in and needed to be cooled off. I gotta say, the bumpers on this thing are in insanely good condition. Insanely good condition. A little bit of rot there. Don't care. Looks like upgraded sway bar links, or at least replaced sway bar links. I'm gonna guess this is the factory sway bar. Maybe? I'm not sure. You tell me. Did it come with that big of a sway bar from the factory? It's a big car, so it would probably come with a big sway bar. Factory stamped steel control arms. Steering components all look probably original to the car, if I'm honest. Shorty headers down to straight pipes. Oh, it's got an H-pipe already in it. That's nice. Right on. Okay. And it does have Flowmaster mufflers on. Even better. I didn't think these were Flowmasters. Well, that's freaking sweet. Okay. Well, that's good news. Air shocks in the rear. Alrighty. Is there a tag back here? There is on the rear diff. This is an 8.8-inch Ford, and it should have a tag, which it does, right there, which should tell me what the gearing for this car really is, which is a huge important thing to know. Because if it's something in the 2 range, we probably need to go to something in the mid 3 range. If it's something in the low 3 range, we're probably okay. Let's look at our frame rails and stuff. It's pretty good. Body mounts even are not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Kind of a universal transmission mount setup here. So I just did a little grindy action, ran a bolt through it, call it a day. It's kind of interesting. Whatever, it works. It's in there. Feels pretty good, to be honest. Speedometer's off, but that's not real surprising. Instead of using a zip tie, just use some, I don't know. Is that elastic? Yep, that's elastic. Take it off your sweatpants and make that work. I don't know what this is. Don't know what that is. Do have a little bit of rust in this corner, but that's not anything real terrible. Frame rail down this side looks nice. Guys, this car is just as nice as I had hoped. Floors are in good shape. No major rust at all. That's awesome. Probably would like to take this exhaust out a bit and maybe turn it down, or bring it out back and dump it here behind the axle. This having an H pipe in this really kind of changes things, because I was considering doing an X pipe, but given that there's already an H pipe on here, this person whoever did this swap did me some favors with the exhaust, because I don't have to do shorty headers. I don't have to do really anything with the exhaust. We can leave that really all alone. I might go to a slightly louder muffler. I don't know. I'm gonna guess these are probably factory original Motorcraft air shocks, if I were a betting man. Rear drums. It does brake fine, it does drive fine. Look up underneath the rear here. I do love that. Gigantor tank, or Gigantor floor for the trunk. You could put a ton of stuff in the trunk of this thing. But up underneath this thing, I mean, it's, I don't know, like a throttle return spring. I don't think that's supposed to be there. That's holding on the side skirt, I think. But for what it is, it's pretty honest. It's not bad, guys. I got a little there. Okay, got a little cancer there. But again, it's a 20, oh yeah, got some cancer over here. Got some cancer. I'll show you what I spotted when we were underneath it. You can see this here, where that's rotted through. Rotted through. A little piece came off there, weight savings. And then rotted through here. So, you know, needs some rocker work, needs some stuff there. As Terry was mentioning, these cars all tend to rot right there on the top where the metal meets the trim. Especially here in the Midwest, where we use salt on everything. You end up with salt and moisture up in there. You also end up with leaves or anything else in there. This is basically a shelf inside there, so you end up with stuff that just sits there and collects moisture, and that ends up tending to rust. Also a very thin piece of where the metal is, so you know, it happens. It's one of the reasons you don't see a lot of cars that are from the late 70s and 80s, even into the 90s in Ohio or any of these Midwest states, because unfortunately a lot of them just rotted apart, either from bad metal from the factory or bad maintenance. And realistically, a lot of these cars didn't really get loved on. Now this one, because it's a, you know, I think the previous owner that I bought it from, when he bought it and titled it, had 55,000 miles on it. Sold it to me with 59,000 miles on it, so he put 4,000 miles on it in a year and a half, basically. So even he didn't drive it very much, but it did sit outside, as far as I know, from once he bought it. So, but a lot of this thing's life probably spent in garage. You know, it was probably an old couple that bought it. Old folk bought it, and that's, you know, what these cars were typically built for. So it had a pretty charmed life to begin with. I'm pretty happy, if I'm honest. I'm pretty damn happy with it. This is as good as I had hoped. So now what we got to figure out is this engine from the 88 LTD or from a 93 Mustang. And there's a couple ways we could figure that out. The easiest way is going to be, what's the firing order? Because the firing order from a 93 Mustang should be different than an 88 LTD. That should be, the 93 should be like a 351 firing order, versus these are a totally different firing order. And the other way would be to pull one of the plugs and run a bore scope down and see whether or not the pistons are flat tops or if they have valve reliefs on them. I'm not really sure I want to pull a plug at this point in time. So let's go the spark plug route, shall we? But underneath wise, I'm pretty dang happy. I think I did all right. Now I've got to really start thinking. Nope, don't start thinking. Don't start thinking. Figure out the engine first, and then we'll figure out everything else. Yeah. Let's get this thing back down and let's take a look at the spark plug wires. Oh, there's a godsend. Retrofitted to R134. So that means somebody has changed this thing from R12 to R134. So we can hook our R134 machine up to this. Easy service ports. We could check that out. See if we can get AC working in this sucker. That'd be awesome. Alright, so let's check and see what our firing order here. It does look like somebody has recently, or semi-recently, put a radiator in this thing. It's a skinny little radiator, but somebody has put a radiator in it. And all of our AC stuff does appear to still be hooked up. So maybe it's just maybe we're just lucky enough to put refrigerant in this thing and it work. How freaking sweet would that be? Alright, firing order. Now being this is a Ford motor, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your numbering with your cylinders here. But as you can see, there are two different firing orders. This is what this car should be if it is still the LTD motor. So 1, 5, 4, 2, 6, 3, 7, 8. If it is the 302 out of a Mustang, which should be a 302 HO, it should be 1, 3, 7, 2, 6, 5, 4, 8. Right? So really your big giveaway is going to be whether or not the second one from 1 is 5 or 3. Simple enough. Either it goes to this bank or it goes to that bank. So first off, we got to figure out where they put 1, which should be up here in the front, and then we'll see what the next one is on this counterclockwise rotation. So this is 1 that goes across to that side, which means this one, which is the next one on the rotation, should be 4. Which it is, the rearmost cylinder here. Right there. So 1, 5, 4, and then 2, which goes to here. Yep. So we are pre-1994 302. So it is the original motor to this car. It is not a 302 HO, which sucks. I did generally assume that that was probably going to be the news I was going to have to deliver to myself. I can't imagine somebody would have gone through all of the headache and heartache to swap this thing into a 93 Mustang long block, and then put all the old Lincoln stuff on it, or the, excuse me, LTD stuff on it. I couldn't imagine somebody would do that, and the reason I can't imagine that is because nobody did do it. So that does limit our potential. If this had been a 93 Mustang, they come with 50 or 60 more horsepower out of the box than 88 LTD does. Better heads, better camshaft, better firing order, better pistons. They're going to have valve relief on them versus flat tops. Better lots of things. But does that ruin our potential for what we want to do with this thing? No, not really. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be a drag car. It's not going to be a purpose-built drag car. It doesn't need to be able to run 8s. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm making it fun. I'm making it enjoyable. I don't care if it doesn't run anything faster than a 13. 13 would probably be really fast than an LTD. It doesn't really matter that much. These motors should be like 9-to-1 compression, thereabouts, at least when they were brand new. So it's got fair compression in it. We got to find a camshaft that'll work in this and that it won't have any kind of problems with, which does limit our cams selection. But that's okay, not a big deal. We can make respectable power with it. If we decide that we want to keep this 302, there's a lot of different things we can do. We can work these heads a little bit, do a little bit of port and polish type stuff, clean them up a bit, get a little bit of that free horsepower like I did on my Pontiac 350 build. That's certainly an option. Maybe skim cut the heads just a little bit, take a little bit off, bump the compression a wee tiny little bit, maybe if I really wanted to. I would imagine this motor has probably never been apart. I will say that there are definitely some oil leaks on this thing, which is not surprising. It's not exactly easy to work on. There's not a lot of room. Even doing something as simple as valve cover gaskets, you can't even get to the valve covers because of where all of this stuff is. So, you know, leaky valve cover gaskets, pretty common. Leaky all kinds of other things, pretty common. And the one thing that I do not want to do is I do not want to create myself another problem where I've got to take a car apart and I spend $10,000 on an engine. And I'm not doing that. That's not what this project's about. That's not what this is about. It's about having fun on a budget. So that's our news on that. Now, let's see what our issue is with the air conditioning and whether or not we can get the AC actually working. Because if I can get the AC working, that's a huge thing. But for those of you following along, now is time to start working on your shopping list of what we should do with this thing. The top contenders, as far as I'm concerned, are we either go forward in time into the future, into the now, with modern tech, and we put ourselves an ACES multi-port fuel injection system on it with digital ignition control, and we get rid of all of this 80s fuel injection and ignition control and timing control stuff. Get rid of all that. Just throw all that away and put something all brand new in it, new school, modern stuff. That will give me the ability to tune the car via either the screen or my phone. I can do whatever I want to do. I can change timing directly. If I even decided to put nitrous on it or some sort of forced induction at some point in time, that kit can also handle that. This thing can't handle any of that. Or we go old school. We back it up. We take all this junk off, we get rid of it, and we go back to hot rodding of old days. You know, that kind of stuff. Where it's a carburetor, intake manifold, distributor, coil. We go old school. Because again, I can tune all that stuff. I don't have to worry about having a computer that's going to hold me back from what I want to do or be able to allow it to do what I want it to do. You know, this 302, for example, this is a 302 HO. Ta-da! Old school. This came out of a 92 Mustang, I believe. And this is for a Falcon project that we're working on for a customer of ours. But like this would be exactly the idea. You go to a carburetor with an intake manifold, toss an air cleaner on the top of it, bing, bang, boom, Bob's your uncle. and you're ready to rock and roll. That's a really attractive option. I think a camshaft has to happen either way. Camshaft is not going to work with speed density computer that's in this thing. It's not going to work. So at minimum, this stuff, if I'm going to do a camshaft swap, which I'm going to do, has to go. So the question is whether or not we go forward or backward. Also, a not unattractive option is get rid of all of this and put a 351 Windsor in it. Because these cars did come in a police package, or government package, whatever you want to call it, that came with a 351 option in it. It's a Panther package. It's a Panther platform. So you could put whatever the hell you want to in this thing. It'll fit. And a 351 fits in the same hole. You're going to have to, get one of the later generation 351s out of a truck and switch out the intake type, because the truck manifolds are real tall and you want to have the short one for a car, so you'd have to switch out that. But you could put a 351 Windsor in this thing, in which case you got more inches. And, everybody likes more inches. It would still be a roller motor, which this is a roller motor, but it would be considerably more work because we'd have to engine out, engine in. However, it would bolt up exactly the same way and would go do everything I tell it to do. However, the 351 is still going to end up needing a carburetor. It's still going to, or a fuel injection system. It's still going to need a carburetor setup on it with an intake manifold on it. It's still going to need ignition. It's still going to need all the other things. And the problem is going to be, the big problem is going to be, a 351 I find is probably going to be kind of tired. It's usually done work truck life or work van life, so it may have 150, 200,000 miles on it. And I don't have any money in the budget to be able to take that motor, bore it, put pistons in it, put it, rebalance it and put it back together again. That money's not in the budget. So if I did go the route of the 351, we would have to trust a unknown motor to be good, which is, in my world, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. It's not something I've ever done in my life. So the smart play would be leave this thing alone with the 302 that's in it and just replace the ignition system, fuel system, timing control, all that stuff, either forward or backwards. Let me know what you think on that. And maybe, if we're really damn lucky, put a nitrous kit on it? I don't know. Oh, you know what? I forgot to look at the rear end tag. Let's look at that real quick, because that'll also tell us some important information about what we're doing next. Because if we have a 323 rear gear in this thing, I don't think I'm going to bother with it. I doubt it's got a limited slip, but if it's got a 323 in it, even with an open diff and this is a big car, I think I leave that alone. I use that money on something else. Yeah, it's covered enough goo, we can't see that. Hit her with some brake clean, see if we can clean that up. Let's try to also not put that in my eyes. Well, good news, there's a tag there. Bad news, can't read it. I have absolutely no idea what that says. That sucks. There's a picture of it. Does that help? I could tell that there's characters there, but I can't read that. So, can you VIN decode cars of this year? That would tell you the rear end? I don't know. I mean, I could technically take it up in the air and roll the drive shaft versus the wheels and see what the multiplier is and be able to figure a rough guess. But we're talking like, is it a 280 something versus a 320 something? And you're not really going to be able to figure that out accurately with just rolling the thing over. Poop. At least my VIN decoding software does not tell me what that rear gear is. Yeah, it's not going to get me where I need to be. 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 158 159 160 161 I mean, I guess we could roll it. But again, that's not going to give me what I need. Huh. Well, let's tackle the air conditioning real quick. And by real quick, I mean not real quick, but we'll see whether or not the air conditioning actually works. Right now, when I run the car, nothing works. The blower motor sort of works. It blows, but not very well. There's no air at all, no cold at all. It doesn't lag the motor down at all, or even try to engage it. So either the controller that sends the signal is bad, the sensor that senses the pressure is bad, the pressures are too low. A lot of different ways to go about that. We know it has a belt on it though, so that's good. So let's hook up our equipment to it, which is pretty easy, and we'll go from there. Somebody's cared for this car. This isn't like a bad vehicle. It's in pretty good shape. There's not a lot of hacky stuff that's going on in here. Is it upsetting that it's not a 93 302? Yeah, that'd have been sweet. Do I try to find a 302? No. No, I don't, because it would cause me no end of headache. The problem is, yes, I could try it, and I've gone around in circles about this. Yes, I could try to build this car off of Facebook, but I know the people that are on Facebook. I wouldn't throw somebody from Facebook. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could even think about throwing somebody from Facebook, because 95% of the time I'm going to get screwed, much less on an engine. If I were to buy a 302 takeout carbureted motor, I'm sure I could buy one. Could I get everything done and fixed that very possibly is wrong with it for that kind of money? No. Absolutely not. I'm also not willing to probably even take that chance, to be honest. Because if I spend $2,000 on a takeout 302 that's carbureted, what happens if it's bad? Then my whole budget's shot. And that's the whole point of this, is to make a budget fun car. Is 20 horsepower, 30 horsepower going to make a complete difference in this car? No. I want it to make good sounds and rumble and drive around and have fun. So, anyway, you guys think about that. I'm going to go get the AC stuff hooked up. Start working on that side of things. Alright. We got power. Fire this guy up. Very soon, let's see if we can get our new to me LTD put up on the dyno jet. That way we can set a baseline. See if I can maybe do this tomorrow. Just mount it up here real quick and make 2 or 3 pulls real quick, see what it makes to the tires before we get anything else started. It's always nice when you're planning on doing upgrades if you have an idea of where you are, where you're starting from, and where you're headed to. You know, this is about percentage increase. It's not necessarily about raw power. If you're in the hot rod world, if you're in the race car world, drag racing specifically, an old 302 is never going to compete with a modern motor for the kind of money that we're spending on it. Can you make a rip-roaring, rowdy 302? Yes. Are you going to spend a boatload more than $2,200 on that? Yes. So I don't care. It's not going to be that big of a deal. It's going to get outrun by a 462 valve, most likely, or a modern Panther. If you're watching one of these things and you happen to have a Crown Vic from the modern era, the 90s, early 2000s, you know, the same thing that's like that Lincoln Mark 8 Super Coupe that's outside. That 4.6 dual overhead cam makes 300 horsepower. Twice the power this thing makes. Just be realistic, guys. Quit chasing that number. There's no point. You're not going to try. Just make it cool. Austin, keep telling yourself this. Stay in a budget and just make it cool. Don't lose that. Easy peasy. Come on, baby, give me air conditioning. God, that'd be nice. All right, we're gonna set this thing up on its automatic go for it thing. I'm not gonna worry about it. There's 0 on the gauge. Not surprised. So if we're lucky, all it is empty. If we're not lucky, then we got to troubleshoot an air conditioning machine. which I don't want to do. But this thing's got to have air conditioning. This is not like all my other stuff. This is a big bad boat. It's got to have AC. It's got to have AC. Especially, by the way, hot summer days on velour interior, quite hot. Especially when you have no air. Quite hot. Press continue to equalize hoses. Equalize my hose. Disconnect high side service hose. I got hose. I got hose. Okay. Start car. Turn on AC to the max. We'll see if this thing commands my AC on. Please. Please give me AC. Please give me AC. Oh. What do you think? Am I that lucky? I'd say we probably have some idle air learning to do, and or it could have leaks from things. I don't care. Don't even think about it, Austin. You're taking all that stuff off. Doesn't matter. You're not going to have an idle air control motor to worry about. You're not going to have any of that intake leak possibility between the upper intake manifold and the lower intake manifold. You're not going to have any of that. Don't worry about it. All right, we are idling nice. Flip the switch. Ooh, it at least engages. I heard it engage. It's engaging. It's also really dragging the motor down. Holy cow. I have air conditioning. It's cold. And it's blowing cold. I get a win. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now it definitely surges. It does not want to run the AC at idle, which is not real surprising. There's a lot of other things that are built in to compensate for the fact that the AC is pulling. But dude, that's blowing nice. Not really cold. It's not ice cold, but it is definitely cooling. Let me grab a little thermostat out there, put that in the vents, and we'll see what's what. Oh, it drug itself down to turn itself off. Okay. It is 78 degrees outside, 80 degrees outside. Ooh, okay. Turn off the air conditioning. She's not happy about that. Hold her at 1500 or so RPMs, 2000 RPMs, something like that. See where we get. It's cooling down. Jimmy just showed up. How about them apples? Dropped to 20 degrees. Well, Still dropping. Still getting colder. Now we're under 60. All right, we got a brake light on. We got to figure that thing out. That's probably just a sensor, because I do have brakes, and I don't have the parking brake on. So it's probably just a sensor. Man, that's a win. For freaking sure, that's a win. Wonder how it behaves when I'm driving it on the road with AC on. We'll have to figure that out. It's still dropping. So that's like a 20 plus degree, 25 degree differentiation. I like it. I'll call that a win. That is air conditioning functional. I posted on the Hot Rod Power Tour group on Facebook earlier today about this car and all the things that I've driven on Power Tour. And this actually honestly would be a fantastic Power Tour vehicle. It would be super, super fun. If I could make it semi-quick and sound good, look good, be super comfortable, have air conditioning, what a wonderful road trip car. What a wonderful Power Tour car. Now, typically speaking, my Power Tour cars in the past that I've gone on 5 or 6 long hauls at this point, I do tend to drive something that's not very well tested and very possibly could fall apart while I'm driving it or leave me stranded somewhere. So if I get, an entire year to sort this car out, that might be a little bit weird for me. But, every now and then you're allowed to drive something comfortable. Hey, Jimmy, stick your hand in here. Huh? Stick your hand in there.
Ooh, I got air conditioning. It's nice and chilly.
25 degrees.
Huh?
It's a 25 degree drop.
That's impressive.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I did a thing, and all it needed was charged. It does not, however, idle with the air conditioning on.
That does not surprise me.
Well, now it is. Interesting.
Maybe just don't start it with the air conditioning.
No, I turned it on without with it running, and it wouldn't idle. Now it's idling just fine.
Interesting. Ford's doing Ford things.
I fixed it. Whatever. Air conditioning.
Yeah.
Check.
Check.
It has air conditioning, and it blows better than I thought it did.
Yeah, I'm actually really impressed. I mean, I still think we need to do either a motor or a resistor. But
yeah, that on high doesn't feel quite so high.
I mean, it's for 80s Ford, that's high.
Okay, fair. It's not going to move my hair. It doesn't affect my beard.
I mean, it's not moving my hair either.
Like, you can't even see it moving my beard. So, but whatever. At least the AC works.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not it holds a charge, that's another conversation.
I mean, that's another conversation, but at least we know the compressor works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Turn it off. Aha! We have air conditioning. Good. On the to fix list, this doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I am 5'7 3/4. This is set up in the driving location of somebody who's like 6'2". So I do have to have a little bit of a gangster lean in order to actually facilitate working of the pedals. So this seat does need to come forward about like 2 inches. Unfortunately, my powered seat doesn't work. But that is a problem for another day. That is not a today problem. I'm sorry you didn't get to buy this, Jim.
I'm really sorry I didn't get to buy this. Like,
it fits you too.
it does.
That's the really unfortunate part.
I don't even need to move the seat.
I know. The car is built for you. Okay, let's disconnect our AC stuff. For all my wonderful subscribers out there, thank you guys so much for watching this stuff and following along on all my crazy adventures and bad financial decisions. Ooh, that's really cold and wet. Thank you for following along on all these bad financial decisions. It is literally you guys that is facilitating me being able to do these kinds of things. If you weren't watching, I wouldn't be able to be doing this, or I wouldn't be doing this. How about that? I will say that the YouTuber life does make you do things at a slightly faster pace than normal human beings would want to do. Nobody would build and buy and do all this stuff as fast as I do it if I didn't have you guys watching me. Normal people would take a long time to do this many projects. I have a lot of projects currently in the works. Multiple engine builds that are almost done. For those of you who are new here, I've got 2 Pontiac 350 builds that are almost done. Should be ready to rock and roll in like the next 2 weeks. We've got Katrina's 1973 Dodge Charger with a 451 stroker kit. That car is within a couple of hours of firing up. The engine's back in that car, so that's awesome. Got a lot of cool stuff going on. Normally, normal people wouldn't do all of this at the same time, but I'm a YouTuber and I can do it. And I may spin myself into oblivion. Dude, tell me there was Tanqueray in that car.
Under the seat.
No way.
Fitting.
Dude.
Very fitting.
That stays with the car. Is it actually gin?
Yep. It was tucked under the front seat. And I found that your harness is disconnected, so I reconnected it, and it still hadn't moved.
Oh. So. Is there a manual overrid?
Checking.
Try some of the Tanqueray. It may help. I don't know that I would drink that. Well, I would, but I'm an idiot. I wouldn't trust.
Based upon the car,
yeah,
I understand that alcohol is a disinfectant, but I don't know who else's lips were on that.
Yeah, that's also true.
So we're just.
Well, maybe we'll just get a new bottle of Tanqueray.
Yes,
we'll leave that one with it.
A new bottle of Tanqueray to
new
leave under the seat.
I've never bought a car that had alcohol in it. Empty alcohol, yes. Cigarettes, definitely. Lighters, absolutely. Never bought anything that had alcohol in it.
I had a buddy who bought a Monte Carlo that had an 8-ball of Coke in it. Does that count?
That totally counts. I don't feel like this was a cocaine guy.
No, this is not a cocaine guy.
Yeah. This is a gin martini kind of guy. Maybe. I give you the keys? You need power?
Yeah, I'm thinking power. I'm thinking it might just be a fuse, even. But the harness was disconnected. The lock for it is
broken.
Busted.
Oh!
So
maybe it disconnected itself?
I mean, it seems like it was intentionally disconnected, which makes sense because probably whoever it is that did the swap is tall enough that fits.
Set it where you need to.
You set it where you need it to go because ultimately if you move it too close, you're going to lose second and fourth.
Yeah.
So.
And or you might be about to light the car on fire.
Right. If I blow up, it's been fun.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be fuse because if we've got something should work, even if the front back doesn't work, either the up down or the lean tilt, whatever it may be, something should go.
Do we figure out what fuse that is? And jumper it?
I mean, jumper it, replace it, whatever.
I do happen to have fuses.
Any chance we got a Fjord owner's manual?
I haven't even opened that. I have no idea what's in there.
There's a trunk release that doesn't work, and
is there any rum?
There is no rum. The rum is gone.
Why is the rum gone? What would you do on the wheels and tires? You think leave them alone?
I kind of like the idea of doing spacers, like a hub-centric spacer.
And kick it out like 2 inches?
Yeah. And here's those Kumos are in fantastic shape.
It rides great.
But there's a part of me that wants to put Vogues on it with the white wall.
Yeah.
I feel like that would look pretty sweet.
It's a different style, though.
Right.
That's not Grandpa style.
But it fits the aesthetic of the car.
Yeah.
I mean, Grandpa rocked the white walls.
Yeah.
I mean, but those tires are fantastic.
Like 80 miles an hour, this thing is just
No,
a 5-speed couch on the interstate is a wonderful experience.
Isn't that
I put
nice?
200 miles on this car.
Yeah.
And it's just glorious.
No,
Jim's the reason I bought this car, by the way.
Yeah.
If you didn't see the previous episodes, I don't shop on Facebook Marketplace. I have friends that do. mainly Jim, and he tends to send me things that I should buy. And I, having very little self-control, often do. And hence we now have this.
The part that I find most entertaining about this is I've watched our videos. You were very hesitant going into it.
This?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You were like, all right, I mean, first thing we discussed was that it was going to live at my house.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, just watching the video at Jegs, it's like, he's slowly falling in love with this
It's
thing.
like that damn pit bull.
Yep.
This was not a planned relationship.
Yeah. No,
It just happened.
It just happened.
And now we snuggle on the couch every morning. I still have the pit bull, by the way. For those of you guys who are watching, she's still in the house. We literally wake up every morning and snuggle on the couch for like half an hour before I go to work.
She's still up for adoption.
Yes, she's still looking for a good home.
Yes.
TM. I checked that off my... I must mention it in every video.
Yep.
Honey, I'm still trying to find her a good home. So, you want to try to figure out the seating thing?
Yeah, I mean, I figured, you know, 12-volt electronics is kind of my thing. I did not ever notice this before.
It's got,
They'll light up on the door lock.
light up door locks.
Look at that. Fancy.
It's got a brake level sensor on it. Right there. Who knows? Unfortunately, this is also old school, so figuring out what does what is a little tricky. Why that light's on. It's not a level thing, so it's probably a level sensor.
It could also be a position switch.
Oh, with the... It thinks that the...
Well...
And that is very much not on.
Yeah, I mean, did you lift it all the way though?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can start it.
Yeah, I mean, it
It doesn't have a neutral safety switch.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
Wait for wait for the double sweep of the tack.
Yep.
Yeah, brake still.
Yeah.
That's the tack. It rattles until it kicks 1,000 RPMs.
No, but it's got that weird lobing idle again.
Oh yeah, I think the idle air control was probably not programmed correctly, which is common on all of these.
Yeah.
Everything Ford from this era is either not functioning or not programmed correctly. All right, under the dash, under the steering column is our fuse panel. And the idea here is we're going to try to steal the 30 amp fuse
Yep.
from the AC.
To replace the 30 amp circuit breaker. And just see that is a negative.
Does not do anything.
It does not do anything.
Okay.
So,
And hopefully we didn't blow the fuse.
fuse is still good.
Okay.
Alright. Well,
So I have AC. I do not yet have a functional seat. So we're probably not a fusing problem.
I don't believe we're a fusing problem.
And we've got this reconnected underneath.
Yes. You know what? There's a Phillips head screwdriver.
We have an entire shop. There's definitely Phillips head screwdrivers.
Well,
Oh,
there
you
was
just went
one
in the car?
underneath the seat.
Oh, it's that little stubby guy? Oh, no. There was a stubby one, too. I have a stubby in here. Came with 2 free tools. Well, while we've got it up in the air, we might as well do a rough guess on this whole rear end situation. Jim's back here doing the Google Eyes'ing, trying to search up stuff, figure out if the internets can tell me. Meanwhile, we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. So, I've got this tire marked right yonder. Yellow mark. I got the drive shaft and the pinion marked right here. Yellow mark, yellow mark. And we're just going to rotate that tire. One full rotation. And then we're going to see how many rotations we get out of the drive shaft. And that's going to tell you what your multiplier is, aka what your rear end gear is. So It's not going to be nearly as precise as what I'd like to know, short of pulling the damn thing apart, which I'm not going to do right now. But at least let us know if it's 3 or more, maybe, or 2. I don't know. It's worth trying at least. Maybe it's a 373 and I don't have to worry about it. Probably not. Now, we verified that also by spinning both tires and come up to basically the same thing. So it's a low to mid 3 gear. Double check my math if you guys know that, but as far as I know, the most aggressive gear that came in these things was a 323, which would make sense here. I can't imagine this is a 355, and I definitely can't imagine it's a 373. That would be awesome if it were. The question is, does it make sense to go from a 323, if it is, to a 375 and a limited slip with my money and my budget? I don't know. Highway cruising, it would probably drop me 2 miles per gallon-ish, something like that. But it would be a lot more fun because I can promise you one of the best spends you can do is gears. I would say exhaust-wise, we're square. I don't need to do anything with it. I think I'm good. It's got an H-pipe in it. I prefer to have an X-pipe, but would I spend a bunch of money to have an X-pipe? Probably not. Not when I already have an H-pipe. So that solves some questions. It answers some questions. It asks some questions. At this point in time, the question really is, what do we do? Which path do we decide to go down? I really, really, really appreciate any input from people who have these cars, who have done anything like this, what you guys as viewers want to see, what do you think would be cool and make this thing interesting. I think a limited slip would be great. It's not going to really make it much faster because this probably gets down the road just fine. A limited slip would also allow me to do burnouts with 2 tires, which is kind of fun. More aggressive gears would definitely help with the acceleration, but I would lose some of my highway cruising capability. Camshaft is going to be a little bit changed as far as what we can do in it because it's not the right firing pattern for the 350HO, and I'm going to be a little bit limited because I believe this is flat top pistons with no valve reliefs on these motors versus the 350 or the 302 HOs have valve reliefs, so you can get a little bit more aggressive on the camshaft lift. Let me know. I'm still up in the air. I do have to make this decision reasonably soon to be able to get this thing done. I don't have a hard date that I need to get this finished at, but if I got it done in time for Holly Ford Fest, I might go to that. Maybe. We'll see. We got a lot of things to fix. I think I'm going to try to finagle some dyno time, maybe tomorrow or Friday, to be able to get this thing on the dyno and see what it makes right now, to be able to set ourselves a baseline and we can work from there. But there's a lot more to come with this thing. It's a whole lot more to come. I'm going to probably tag you in for some electrical stuff.
Sounds good.
Also stereo system, because it is horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's bad.
I've been doing some shopping.
So. Good. I'm sure you have. Yeah, so there you go. That's the 1988 LTD Victoria that I purchased. It's cool. It's neat. It's not perfect, but it could be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to enjoying this thing through the end parts of summer into the fall, and then who knows what beyond that. But I think it's going to be a really cool little budget build, $5,000 or less. We'll see what I can do. I got $2,200 to spend. Where would you spend your $2,200? Jimmy, anything you got to say to the people?
If you find another one and you feel like donating it to me, I would be greatly appreciative.
You would love to have one?
I would love to have one.
Well, the fun thing is if you can borrow it and you don't have to pay for it.
I mean, this is true. This is nice.
You have made that like an art form. The ability to just kind of borrow other cars and not have to pay for them yourself. You are singularly capable.
If there were a doctorate in that, I would have a PhD for sure.
All right, guys. I got to clean up, get home, I will get this video edited, get it uploaded. Hopefully you enjoy this. I appreciate all of the support, the love on the videos with the Crown Vic. I've had the last 2 videos I put out have been the most viewed videos I've had in like a month. So thank you guys all so much for that. I'm glad somebody's interested in this Crown Vic project. I got a whole lot of other crazy stuff coming up as well, so hopefully the transition's over.
We have another viewer, too. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for watching. Make sure you watch to the end so I get paid. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Take care. Bye-bye. AC still on?
It just likes the lobe every once in a while.
Yeah, that idle, it's not happy with.
Yeah, we might just need to set the throttle position screw a bit.
Let this thing idle and warm up a little bit, then let Jimmy take her for a rip. That's the first time the lights have been on.
Yeah.
Good to see the lights actually work.
They work. Part of why I put them on.
Yeah, I didn't know that it actually worked.
Let's make sure that they function.
It's drivable and nice.
Yep.
All right, take her down the street if you wouldn't mind. Don't blow it up. I haven't got that in the budget to fix it.
Yeah. That might kill the budget.
Such totally weird sounds coming out of a boat. It does make it a lot more fun to drive though, I'll be honest. I've driven those things in automatic. Not fun. Manual makes it way better. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you again. See if the parking brake works?
Oh, it works.
Look at that. It's fancy.
The interesting thing is like downshifting into second and rounding a corner, it feels very floaty. The only thing I've ever driven that feels like that is like an old 2-wheel drive pickup truck. So it's
Yes.
It's not a feeling I'm used to with a stick shift sitting lower to the ground.
I agree.
Like,
yes.
It just feels odd.
You're driving a stick shift couch.
Yes. Yes. But parking brake works.
Excellent.